Hi, according to the data that you've entered, you are in stage 2 of arithmetic section. Now what does this mean? First of all, what it means is that as far as the concepts that are tested, you know quite a few concepts here, okay? Now there may be few gaps, but they are not really that many that you need to go through the entire course. So essentially, because you know the concepts decently well, going through the entire course is not required. Okay, it's up to you, but you don't need to go through the entire course. You can actually selectively bridge those conceptual gaps, and we'll talk about how you can do that. So that's the first thing that being in stage 2 means. What's the second thing? The second thing that it means is that today you have a process that you follow intuitively to answer questions, but because it's so very important in the context of the GMAT to have a very, very solid process, you need to still solidify that in that process that you're right now utilizing intuitively. So the main thing that you need to do in stage 2 is solidify this process, solidify it, okay? That's what you need to do. So whatever intuitively you're applying, you need a much stronger structure to that process so that you can solidify it and you can use it in a scalable fashion, and you can reproduce that process across every question for this particular section. And secondly, again, concepts wise, you're good. You probably just need to bridge a few gaps, and that's something which we can talk about. So given this, let's talk about how is it that you should proceed with stage 2 preparation of arithmetic section. Now we teach arithmetic section of the GMAT Quant in 3 different courses: number properties, word problems, and advanced topics. So the steps that I'm going to recommend to you right now, you need to do the set of steps for number properties first, then word problems, then advanced topics, okay? So how is it that you need to do stage 2 for number properties? Let's talk about that. So step 1 is to learn the method to solve number properties questions. Step 2 is to cement this method, okay, utilizing questions in Scholaranium, okay. Now how do you learn the method? In order to learn the method, you basically go through the concept file, the application files, and the practice files. So for number properties, what I would say is skip 1.1, go through 1.2, 1.3. Okay, if you want to practice questions from official guide, you're more than welcome to do so. When you get to prime numbers, skip the first 3 concept files, do the application file and the practice quiz. So think about an application file as a guided exercise, okay, in which you first solve question number 1 and then you review the solution of this question in detail, okay. Essentially what this allows you to do is this allows you to compare and contrast your approach versus the approach that has been explained in the solution, okay. So that's what this thing allows you to do. Just spell contrast, right? Contrast, okay. All right, now then what you do is you apply these learnings that you have from this exercise onto the next questions, the next question that follow, question number 2, and then you again review the solution of this question, and then you repeat the process here, okay. So essentially, as you apply these learnings to the subsequent questions in the file, what ends up happening is that your skill set to solve questions really gets enhanced, okay. And the more critical you are in this step of reviewing the solution, the more good learnings you will have from this exercise, and the more diligent you are over here to apply these learnings onto the following questions, the more your skill set will improve, okay. Now another very important thing to understand is that when you are solving these questions, I do not want you to time yourself. Do not time yourself. Why? Because the goal over here is for you to learn the process as much as possible from these purpose-built files, and you will not be able to learn the process in the intended manner if you do these files in the timed environment. So do not time yourself. Do not waste these questions by solving these questions in a hurry, okay. So keep in mind these 3 points and carry forward. Now at any point in time, if you feel that there are certain concepts that you're not aware of, then go through the concept file for that particular module. For example, let's say as you're going through prime numbers, you realize that you have some problems with the concepts regarding prime numbers, then don't proceed to units digit. Make sure that you revise the concept files that are there in the prime numbers module. Again, your goal is to make sure that you learn the method and bridge any conceptual gaps that may exist in your conceptual understanding. Okay. Now, another very important point while solving quant questions is that do not be looking out for shortcuts to solve questions. Focus on the process that has been given to you in the file, in the application solution or in the regular solution. Okay. Now let's take an example. Let's say you solve a question and you solve that question correctly by using, let's say, number substitution or plugging in numbers. Okay. Now the solution instead utilized a different method. Okay, a step-by-step method. Now at that point in time, I don't want you to ignore the solution just because you were able to solve the question correctly and just because you feel that your solution is a lot more efficient. Okay, why am I saying that? Yes, you were able to get the answer correctly, but your learnings from that question will not really help you with that higher order application of those concepts on questions that actually do require that same step-by-step process. Okay, so at this point in time when you're learning, do not go for shortcuts. Okay, let the course teach you the step-by-step process so that you get to that higher percentile level so that you can carve out your own shortcuts. Okay, so focus on the process, do things step by step. So to reiterate, the steps that you need to follow are: you first do the application files and the practice files in each module in number properties course. Then you cement these methods utilizing Scholaranium for number properties. Okay, then you repeat this for word problems. That is, you do application files, practice files from the course in word problems course, and then you cement the methods utilizing Scholaranium word problem. Okay, then you do this for advanced topics. Now with this information, you're all set to get going with stage 2 of arithmetic. Once you're through the step of going through the application files and practice files, I will explain to you how can you cement the methods utilizing Scholaranium. Till then, happy learning.